We're
The
live.
views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Hi, and welcome to Open 2.0. I'm your host, Stephanie Luciano. Our next guest is a talented chef who is here to teach us all about a gluten-free alternative to a classic dish. Please welcome to the show, Tatiana Gonzalez.
Hi.
Hi.
How are
Thank
you?
for coming.
Thank you.
So I know you've prepared us a classic dish,
Yes.
but before you start, please tell me a little bit more about yourself and what drew you to culinary.
Okay. So I decided to go to culinary school after I graduated from high school. And I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. I had a couple of passions. I liked to write, and I loved to cook and to bake. And so I decided to just kind of jump the gun and move to New York from Florida. And I went to culinary school at Monroe College. And it just basically completely became my passion. And so that's what I do now.
Now, I also know that you make dishes that are gluten-free.
Yeah.
What made you choose gluten-free dishes?
So I decided to choose gluten-free dishes because when I graduated culinary school, I was diagnosed with a gluten sensitivity. So basically that just means that I have a difficult time digesting the protein that's in regular wheat flour, which is basically in everything. So I decided that I needed to learn a new way to bake so that I wouldn't get sick, so I do gluten-free baking.
So, do you change when you do your baking? Do you change almost everything or only a couple of things?
So I just really basically changed the flour. I don't use regular wheat flour. I use a combination of brown rice flour, white rice flour, nut flours, tapioca starch, potato starch, which are all naturally gluten-free. And I just come up with a blend. And I think the only other thing is sometimes I have to adjust the moisture from a regular recipe.
Okay.
But other than that, everything else is pretty much the same.
And do they taste good?
Yes, they're delicious.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So, do you do this as a career or as a hobby?
So I actually do it as a career. I'm still a student right now, but as a career, I work teaching adults how to do regular baking. And basically, so this is my career, and I just do, on the side for different parties, a little bit of catering. And I'm working on developing recipes so that I can open up my own bakery soon that will be 100% gluten-free.
Oh, wow, amazing.
Yes.
So, what else do you do for pastries? Like, do you change everything, as in the frosting, the toppings?
Absolutely, yeah. Compared to regular traditional baking, there can be a lot of wheat or gluten hidden in a lot of store-bought products. So I can't, just go to the store and buy a pre-made frosting. And a lot of times because it'll contain gluten in it, or it'll be made in a facility that had, wheat around it. And so basically you have to treat it like an allergy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I also know that, like you said, that you teach adults. Do you also teach adults your gluten-free recipes?
I have not, actually. I started with the company that I'm working for. I started just teaching regular baking, and we're trying to work out so that I can start teaching gluten-free because I think it's really important that a lot of people are aware of the allergy, because a lot of people actually have the allergy or the sensitivity, more or less, than I think we know. And so it's really important that people are informed. So I would like to start teaching them that.
Oh,
yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
So are you planning on only doing pastries, or do you do dinners as well, meals?
So I do mainly pastries, but I love to cook, and I primarily cook just at home for my family and things like that. And if I'm doing anything for an order or for catering, it's normally baking. But I can do, something savory with,
Oh, wow, that's really cool. Do you teach anyone else in your household?
Yes, I do. I teach most of my family members, especially when it comes to baking. They're all great cooks. But when I'm baking in the kitchen, either my fiance or my sister-in-law, or just a family member, they love to be in the kitchen baking with me. And so I love that. I love, the participation. So yeah, I just teach the people in my house.
So besides your medical reasons as to why you became gluten-free, was there a certain person who drew you into becoming a culinary chef?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I met my fiance, and he likes to eat. He likes really good food, and I didn't know how to cook. So it's funny to think that, but I didn't know how to cook, and so I started asking my mom if she can teach me all of her recipes, and I noticed that I was leaning more towards baking though. And so I would say from that experience is where I really dove in and tested the waters and was like, wait a second, I really like this. And so I think that experience is what made
All right,
me
so let's start off with
Absolutely.
what you have here. So please tell us.
So we have a gluten-free lemon pound cake here that I made for you guys. And so pretty much.
And what does this have?
So this has
type of flour.
Okay. So this one here has a blend of brown rice flour, tapioca starch, potato starch. And I think for this one here, that's it. So that's just a really basic.
It looks yummy as
all-purpose.
well.
Thank you. Yeah. And then you can smell the lemon. So it has a lot of lemon zest, lemon juice, and then your traditional butter, sugar, eggs. So I like to keep all the traditional stuff in baking when it comes to that. I like to keep all the good stuff that makes it taste like a baked good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So because it has different ingredients, is it slower to cook? Does it take longer?
Yeah, sometimes it can be a little finicky because since it lacks gluten, so basically the biggest part about gluten and baking is that it's what gives it its texture, its stability. It gives it kind of that stickiness. And so rice flour and things like that, they don't have that protein. And so you have to add certain things like xanthan gum or guar gum. And they help to pretend like they're gluten to help it, bake up. So yeah, you got to do a little bit of science with it, change
definitely.
the temperature. Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Well, right here we have raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, some candied ginger, and some Nestle M&Ms.
Yes.
So what are we trying to do?
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a classic, it's actually an English dish, and it's just a dessert, and it's called a trifle.
Cool.
So what that consists of is just normally, we're going to do small individual ones, but normally it would just have pieces of either pound cake or of sponge cake, and it would be soaked in some type of liqueur. Like amaretto or something like that. And it would be layered with pound cake, whipped cream, fruit, and I mean, the possibilities are endless. So we're just going to do kind of a classic version. So we're going to do some pound cake with whipped cream layered with some fruit. And then I always like a crunch, so we'll add one of these to give it a little bit of texture.
All right, cool. Yeah. So let's begin.
All right. So we can just go ahead and start by cutting up our pound cake. I went ahead and I have a cookie cutter here or a biscuit cutter, and this is going to help us get the perfect size so it could fit inside of the cup. So we'll just move this to the side. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a bread knife, and we're just going to lay this on its side. Careful with the fingers. And we're going to do about an inch thickness, and we're just going to use this as a saw and cut all the way down. I'm going to do that one more time. And this is going to be our layers that are going to go inside. So now we can use the cookie cutter.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we're just going to take this here. We're going to take one layer. Let's hope he fits inside.
And do you usually make this for other people, special occasions?
Yeah, this one here is really simple. So I like to do this kind of dish when a lot of people are coming over.
Okay.
Because it's really simple to just get a big, large glass bowl and put everything in, make it look nice and pretty, and everyone enjoys it. Everyone can grab their own portions, and it really doesn't take a lot of work. So it's good for a big occasion.
That's good.
So our little cake won't go all the way in, but we can just help it push it down like that. So then it fits. And then what we'll do is we're going to use some whipped cream. So you just take your pastry bag and you stick your hand underneath like that.
Okay.
Almost make like a little cup for it. And if you want to hold that end right here. Yep. And then I'm just going to take some whipped cream. And then since my hand is underneath, that's kind of like my little grip under there.
Okay.
And so you're just going to take some whipped cream.
This is just regular whipped cream, right?
Yeah, just
Okay.
regular whipped cream. So that's made with just heavy cream and a little bit of sugar.
All right.
So then what you want to do is you want to make sure you get any air out. It's good. So then we're just going to give it,
Oh, wow. It looks yummy.
yeah, it's going to be delicious. So we're just going to give it a swirl. We'll lay this to the side.
Okay.
And then you can go ahead and put some blueberries or raspberries.
Okay.
And I would, this dish is particularly very eye-appealing. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and layer it. So you want to do maybe just all raspberries, and then the next layer will be blueberries. So it'll have a,
Okay.
a nice eye appeal to it. So you can start with whichever you like.
All right. So add some blueberries.
Okay.
One more. So some raspberries.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
All right. And then what we can do next is we'll just go ahead and get our next layer.
So this is very layered?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It's cool.
So then we'll get our next layer. Go ahead and drop it in there. And then
The fruits?
Nope. We'll do
okay.
one more of whipped cream. Just like that.
Wow, it looks really pretty.
And then you can add some more fruit.
The same old, same old.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. And then what we can do is we'll scoot this over. And we'll just do one more of whipped cream on top. And then we could do a little cut strawberry.
Okay.
Once again, just for a little bit of eye appeal. So you just cut off the little leaf part, cut this in half, and then to fan out the strawberry, just watch your fingers, and you just kind of do small layers, whoop, just like that. And then what this is going to do is we're going to fan them out,
Okay.
just a little bit like
That
that.
looks pretty.
Put it on top. And then you can go ahead and choose what you want your topping to be. So we can do some
Okay.
ginger, or we can do some chocolate chips.
Chocolate chips.
Okay.
Do I open it?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. And then we can just
So as we're finishing off this dish,
Yep.
would you recommend any advice to anybody who's who's actually gluten-free as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So my main goal when I became gluten-free was I heard a lot of, I guess, trauma stories, and it can be really difficult. It's hard to go places and find things that are gluten-free, so I think that I would just like to show everyone how simple it can be, and that we can
Definitely.
enjoy everything else just like, someone that eats regular flour, and that it's really simple and that it could be really enjoyable.
And if someone wanted to contact you, where would they reach you at?
So I have an Instagram page where I show all of the things, photos that I bake. I take all of my own photos. I put up recipes, and I'll be having a blog coming soon. So they
Okay.
can find me on Instagram at CaliGirlBakes_GF.
Okay.
Or they can reach me at my email for direct contact, and that's just at tatiana.gonzalez@yahoo.com.
That's cool. Well, this looks beautiful, and
Thank you.
thank you so much for coming.
You're very welcome.
And that's all the time we have for today. We will see you next here on Open 2.0.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto. All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control.
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything,
It is I.